All right, sorry. Listen, guys, we're here today. It's a good Friday. It's the best Friday because it's the only good Friday. Because guess what? We came off a good game last night. Shouldn't have been that good, but hey, we'll get to that in a second. Welcome to Shot of Sports. I'm your host Nas today. Here with Jalen. He's back. He's got a broken toe. We got Nolan Kopolowski here. We got David Polly, our Friday guest, our Friday, annual weekly guest. And
Sure.
we're here to give you some great takes, some good football talk today, some good baseball talk later on. We'll get to that. And then we got the weekend coming up with a bunch of football, and it's the best time of the year, man. It is. It really is. Like, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, TikTok. If I'm missing anything else, just look it up and find it and subscribe. Appreciate it. And we'll get into this in a second, but tell me how you guys have been. How'd you guys enjoy the game last night? How's Jalen? I want to start with you because you had a pretty rough, past 7 days. But how you feeling?
I'm good. My toe was going a whole different. The toe next to your big toe, like the second toe, was going a different direction. So I had to go to the hospital and get that popped back into place. And I just came back from sports medicine at the U, and they said that pretty much all of my bones is good, and that all I have now is like really just bruising and just a little bit of swelling, but I'm good to go. So,
Nolan, how we doing?
Good, not too bad. I was telling everybody else my bet did not hit last night because they decided to run Ali Gordon at the goal line instead of Devon Achane. And he did not get a touchdown, so I was
told you he wasn't going to score.
That.
I knew he wasn't going to score.
Vegas
David,
made the call there. Vegas made the call. They're calling
sure
Ali
did.
Gordon a power back on the broadcast. I'm like,
literally,
give me
whatever.
A break, dude.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, come on, whatever. I mean, he was running pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, chopping his feet pretty well. But
Ali Gordon was tough like 2 years ago, and then he just didn't transfer. He was gonna be like the Genti of last year's class if he would have declared. But yes, sir, that is a White Sox hat. Hey, and it's signed by Joe Kelly, the GOAT of all goats. So whoever said that in the chat, I have a Joe Kelly signed White Sox hat. I met him for like my I went to a game on my birthday. So yeah, shout out to whoever just said that. I appreciate that. But no, I'm doing good. Yeah, I may not have fired off a couple of hateful tweets about Tua on my burner account last night because he didn't give Jalen Waddle a single target in the first half.
They're just beating him.
And then I kind of felt bad because then he actually, Waddle turned in a decent game. Tua screwed me out of $500. Dude, that's what I'm saying. He's horrible. It took 26 passes for him to get to 100 yards. He sucks. He stinks. I hate Tua. I hate him so much.
Well, we'll get to that now, actually. Thursday night football talk here in the Shot of Sports. And I just want to get you guys' take because I'm a little concerned. Okay, I am. We're in the locker room, by the way. We're not on the field. Listen, I'm a little concerned. Only reason I'm concerned is because you see the Bills put up 40-something points, 42 points, I believe, 41 points, week 1 against the Ravens, their rival right now. And then you get to week 2 against the Jets, and they don't pull up the best game. I know the defense on the Jets is pretty well put together, but still not the greatest team, and they still struggled. And then you get to last night. It's kind of the same thing. The Dolphins are in it the entire game, and you wonder why Josh Allen isn't able to move it. I mean, he had a spectacular game himself, but the rest of the team, the O-line looked kind of dysfunctional. The wide receivers looked fine, but they couldn't run block as well. What do you guys think is going on with the Bills? Are we concerned? I know they're 3-0, but is this a kind of a scary, kind of nervous 3-0? Are we considering that at all?
I wouldn't. I would say I think this is why I was saying he was MVP last year because I'm looking at his team as it is look like now, and I'm not really so much of concerned. I would say, but I would be saying that if there is a level of concern, it is now because, I mean, you put up 40 on the Baltimore Ravens, and you put up 31, and it wasn't a clean 31 either.
It was not a clean 31.
So you put up 40 and you look pretty much unstoppable against the Ravens, but you put up a not so clean 31 against the Dolphins, whose defense is one of the worst in the league. It's
You see, but in that game as well, in the Ravens game as well, they were also kind of shaky at the beginning of the game. The first 3 quarters were pretty shaky for me. So I'm looking at the last 2 games that they've had, coming into week 3, and now it's like it's kind of an ongoing theme for them. I don't know. They're winning games. It doesn't matter. But are we a little concerned? David, I want to go to you next.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we can talk ourselves blue in the face about, different ways, issues with like how the team is structured and the offensive line. As long as, the box football, like NFL is like the one sport where, the final score is really all that matters. It doesn't go by like quality wins or anything. But I'd say if I really had to look at the Bills from like a team standpoint, the thing that was the concern last year is still kind of the concern this year, and it is the receiver room. I don't really think there is like a true uncontested wide receiver one in this receiver room. I think they have guys that I like. I'm a Khalil Shakir guy. I've been preaching his propaganda for the last few years. I think he's a super underrated like slot gadget guy. He had a nice end around touchdown yesterday. And I like Keon Coleman a lot. He's from I know Jalen probably can echo that sentiment, Michigan State guy, but I think they are kind of counting on him to become that alpha wide receiver one. But he's a second-year player. He's a raw coming out of college. I think he's going to need some more time. I don't think it's a coincidence that last year at the trade deadline, they decided to make that move for Amari Cooper because they understood that they were really lacking that, a big-time playmaker. And obviously this year they didn't really address the receiver room because they extended Shakir and they were counting on a big second-year leap from Coleman. They got a couple guys like Josh Palmer, solid. They still have Curtis Samuel, but, if the game's on the line in a game, let's say like a playoff game happens, how that Bills-Ravens game went to, and they're playing, another playoff team, like who is Josh Allen going to like consistently look for? Like how Jalen Hurts would look for Brown, or how, Kirk Cousins would look for Jefferson, or Joe Burrow would look for Chase. Like who's going to be that guy in this Bills receiver room? I think that's a question they're going to have to answer sooner versus later.
Nolan, I want to swing it to you quick because you were a big Josh Allen guy as well. How has he looked to you these past 3 games? And are you concerned about not only his play, but maybe just the entirety of the team, maybe the coaching as well?
As far as Josh Allen goes, I'm not very concerned about his play. I thought he was very good last night. He made a lot of good decisions. Thinking back to the flip in the end zone was a really nice play by him. Where he just kind of baited all the defenders up and then was able to just flip it to his guy. And he had some nice ones. He had a nice pass to Kincaid in the back of the end zone, which should have been for a second touchdown. The DB made a good play on that ball, but that was a nice throw there. So as far as Allen's concerned, I'm not overly concerned about Josh Allen. I think he played good last night. But the Bills, I mean, it was a little concerning to see them not being able to finish off drives. But I think the biggest issue that I have with their team is their run defense. That's where a lot of these.
Ed Oliver didn't play, but
I understand it. But I mean, look, you're giving up 130 yards to the Miami Dolphins, and look, they had a great game defensively against the New York Jets last week. But it's the Jets, and it was Tyrod Taylor throwing the football out there too at a certain point. And I mean, this is a team that gave up close to 250 yards on the ground to the Baltimore Ravens back in Week 1. If you're looking at the Bills' schedule, it's nothing to really be concerned about because the Bills should, unless they completely collapse, start 7-0. I mean, if you look at their next 4 games, it is a cakewalk of schedule. They got the Saints next week. They got the Patriots at home the week after that. Then they go on the road against the Falcons and on the road against the Panthers. Their next challenge isn't until November when they play the Chiefs at home. So they should start 7-0. So as far as this team, getting to the playoffs and being a high seed, winning their division, I really don't think there's any concern there. But if we're talking about this Bills team jumping to that next level, getting to be a Super Bowl contender team that can knock off a Patrick Mahomes Chiefs-led team or the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs, given the fact that I think the Ravens are even better and more experienced now when it comes to playoff time, they didn't show me, especially last night, they didn't show me that they are any better than they have been the past few seasons. And I think that this is a team that is once again going to kind of peter out in the divisional round, maybe the AFC Championship game. I mean, if you're only beating the Dolphins by 10 points, what are we doing? I mean, the Dolphins had a chance. If Tua doesn't make a very, very bad pass at the end of that game was close to being tied at the end. And I mean, who knows? It goes to overtime. Who knows what happens? The Dolphins were driving and were in the red zone until Tua made just an awful read and threw it right to the defender to end the game. But yeah, this Bills, that was not a convincing win whatsoever. And their defense, to me, especially their rush defense, is a little concerning right now.
I really want to touch on Tua right now because I saw a clip today with Cam Newton, and he said he was kind of just evaluating the pick. Like, I think Tua at the end of the game said, he ran that play and that's where he usually goes, or something in that instance. And Cam Newton says, well, they're going to pick up on that. They do film just like you do. I mean, he knew that he was going to throw it that way. He jumped it right before the ball even left his hands. So it's a little, I don't know what is wrong with Tua. Like,
he doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback. He just doesn't. He's a backup at best.
He played pretty well to start off the game. There was a few drives where it was just kind of like, okay, you can't really finish the drive because everything's covered. But then he just started throwing stuff like that, and it was like it was 21-21, and then it just didn't make any sense.
But this team should be better than where they are at. Tua is holding them back. Look at the amount of talent that they have on the offensive side of the football. You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. You got a lot of good young playmakers. Tyreek Hill's not young, but you got some of those other guys. You've got good playmakers on this team, and this is a team that should not be 0-3 right now. I mean, they just shouldn't. Tua is holding them back, and again, you look at a lot of other quarterbacks. Yes, he played okay through the first 3 quarters of that football game, but at the end of the day, look at his stat line: 22 for 34, 146 yards through the air. He had 2 touchdowns and the bad pick at the end of the game. It's just not. I mean, he was throwing checkdowns all game, letting Achane and Gordon pick up a lot of the yards, and he's not a good quarterback, and he's holding this team back from being something much, much better. And I mean, really, name one good season that Tua has had that he deserves to be paid as the Dolphins starting quarterback. And why they haven't moved on from him baffles me. I mean, you could tell one good season.
He had 2 years ago.
I was going to say the 2022 season.
He had a pretty good season.
450 yards almost
before his CTE.
And how did it end up with him? How did it end up for him? He had a good season, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. I mean,
they scored 7 points against the Chiefs.
Yeah, he just doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback.
That game was that was like an ice bowl game though.
It was, and I mean, he doesn't perform good in the cold either. But
2023, he had 4,600 yards, pretty damn good. 29 touchdowns, but 14 interceptions. He had a 101 QB rating, which is pretty good. But the picks kind of throw me off there a little bit. He
doesn't know how to protect the football at all.
And 2022, he had 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 8 picks. His first year, 1,800 yards. Second year, 2,600 yards.
You don't get the name Tua turn the ball over by being a good guy who takes care of the
offense. Oh my God!
48 interceptions in his career, in his 6-year career.
Yeah,
and 105 touchdowns, which is
averaging
impressive.
8 picks a year. It's just.
Yeah. I wanted to get back into that.
That's in the regular season, but he just.
I wanted to go back to where we were saying who is Josh Allen's go-to receiver. I think it's Dalton Kincaid. I think that's
right.
I mean, he has the most targets. I mean, granted, okay, Keon Coleman is obviously the number 1 wide receiver, but he also had 11 targets in what was that against Baltimore? But those numbers, you can't really look at those numbers. That game was inflated.
Shootout, yeah.
That game was inflated. So when you look at the last 2 weeks,
it's going to go that way every game.
So when you look at the last 2 weeks, he's only had 7 targets. When you look at Kincaid, he's had 12 targets or 8 targets, I believe, something like that. I think he's had, let me see. He had he's had 12 targets the last 2 games. So I think his number 1 receiver, I think his go-to guy on a third down or whatever, I think it's Dalton Kincaid.
Well, and you saw him run a bunch of 2-3 tight end sets. They have a lot of good tight. I mean, they still got Dawson Knox, who is a good tight end, and they had that third guy. What's his name? He just caught a touchdown yesterday.
Shakir?
That third guy caught a touchdown. No, the third tight end they had, he caught a touchdown. I don't remember his name. I know you're
the rookie. He's a rookie, right?
Yeah, and they were saying on the broadcast, by Pro Football Focus, he's been like one of the better tight ends, like even as a rookie.
Tucker Kraft or Kincaid? That's a good question.
Oh, really good Kraft. Kraft, and I don't really have to think about it. I like Kincaid, but I mean Kraft has done a lot more.
Kincaid is more of a product if they have nobody to throw the ball to. I like Kincaid. Look, I like him, but I think Tucker Kraft, if you are putting them head to head, I'd pick Tucker Kraft.
He can also block a lot better than Kincaid. I've noticed that.
I mean, Kraft isn't even like he wasn't even the number one tight end in his own team for a while. He had to go through Musgrave because Musgrave was the higher drafted of the two, and it was 23, 22, I believe. One of those years when you guys.
It was 23, I believe.
It was the one
you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about Tua though. Like my whole thing with Tua is that he's always going to be a guy that puts up solid numbers, and whether that's being a part of a friendly system or just having really good weapons at his disposal, I think he's like. I don't want like I can't look at those numbers and call him bad. The interceptions scare me a little bit. I can't call him bad necessarily, but I just think he's like. I just don't think he's like the right guy to go to in high leverage situations. I mean, you go all the way back to Alabama. Alabama in what was the year that he took over for Hurts in the national championship? Was that 19? Was it 20? I forget.
Was it 20? No.
Whatever year that was, I remember he was playing behind the Joe Moore offensive line, the best offensive line in the country, and then he took over the year after and had the I don't know if they won the Joe Moore Award that year, but he had one of the best offensive lines in the country. He had, an elite receiving core. He was playing under Saban. I think Tua is the ultimate example of being a product of a system, but not the system itself. If he's put in the right scenario, he can succeed. But if that system starts to deteriorate, or if, people start to leave or something like that, or if, the conditions aren't right, then things aren't going to go the way that you want to. And the Dolphins kind of confuse me because I know somewhere that 2022 team where, Tyreek had like 1,700 yards. Waddle had 1,000 yards. They were lighting up the best defenses in the league for 400 passing yards every week. Tua was a Pro Bowler. I know that's like still in there. The blueprints of that team are still basically intact, but
do you think it's coaching? Do you think Mike McDaniels is the issue?
They figured him out.
Yeah, maybe other teams started to figure the Dolphins out, or maybe Tua just, his brain is just too mushy to actually go through his reads in a timely manner. I don't know, but it's like a far cry from what we've seen in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and he's probably still going to put up good numbers. But like I said earlier, I mean, the fact that it took him 26 passes to get to 100 yards yesterday is insane. That doesn't sound like a real stat.
It was because it was all check down. I mean, that's all he was throwing last night. It was just you knew like 9 times out of 10 he was going to throw his check down option. And as far as Mike McDaniel goes, I mean, he did enough, I think, last night where he's obviously not going to get fired this week. Like we were talking about, if it was a bad loss, that he would be gone after this game. They were close. They were in that game. I don't think he's going to get fired. But if they do not beat the New York Jets at home next week on Monday night, he should be gone. There should be no reason.
It's a Monday night game.
The New York Jets.
God, that's so ugly. I can't believe
Monday night games again too. And I mean, this is a whole other can of worms. But I hate having Monday night games. They don't know why they do that.
I love the doubleheaders, man. That's fun. But let's look before
they
we
shouldn't
move on.
have another game obstructing. They should have another game obstructing Miami, New York. That's going to be electric.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want to talk about the power rankings this week, and the Dolphins were last, and it's very funny because they didn't play like it last night. I don't think. Let me look real quick. I think they were last, and then I think the Saints were like right after them or something like that. It was pretty funny when I was looking at it.
They have the Dolphins going like the Panthers and the Saints?
Yeah, dude, they're 32. I swear. Yeah, no, okay, wait. Hold on a second. I saw it on their Instagram. It said Dolphins were 32, but now they're 28 now. So
Okay.
I don't
maybe it's
disagree
changed.
though. Like, I really don't. I think the Dolphins through the first 2 weeks of the season were the worst team in the NFL. The Saints held it close against the 49ers. Granted, I know the 49ers didn't have Brock Purdy, didn't have Kittle, they were hurt, but
Still, Kyle
held still
Shanahan
had
led
it,
team though.
held it close. The Niners supposed to have a pretty good defense. They held it close. Only lost by 5. The Saints haven't looked as bad as I thought that they would be. They're still obviously a bottom of the barrel team, but they haven't been as bad as I thought they would be. But the Dolphins, I mean, especially that week 1, going up against the Colts. I know the Colts are better than we thought they were going to be, but you put up 8, and then next week you're in a battle with the Patriots, who have been disappointing. To me, they were the worst team through 2 weeks. They showed up last night, but
I still think, like, in a vacuum, I would take the Dolphins over definitely the Saints, the Panthers, and at least the Browns. Those 3. Like, if we're,
let's move on to the next
it's all
one.
about momentum.
Let's move on to the next one real quick. And this is our thing. Week 3, we're going to talk about week 3 locks, but we're also just going to talk about the concerns we have for upcoming week 3, because there's a lot of things to go over here. First game on the list, I'm looking at Bengals Vikings. Okay, we're with the biggest Bengals fan. We're with the biggest Bengals fan ever. All right, and I gotta know, David, before I continue with these locks and these just the overall games, are you concerned? Because listen, Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning, Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson. Whoever wins this game and whoever puts up the best stats is the best wide receiver. Do you agree with that or not?
Yeah. I mean, it's two elite wide receivers playing with basically just worse versions of Tua. Guys who can't throw over the middle of the field and guys who can't really process reads. First of all, I'm just saying that this game's going to be electric, man. Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. Ooh, I am ready for that, man. That is going to be insane. But yeah, no, I'm a little concerned. I think I'm less panicked than most about the whole thing, about like the thing. I mean, obviously it breaks my heart that Joe Burrow is basically just going down the Andrew Luck career path. It's actually even worse. I saw some graphic
it's
that
way worse. Sack wise is way worse.
30 sacks more, bro. It's and I honestly thought it was going to be different this year. Like we got rid of our 2 guards who were really bad. We got Dalton Risner was good. He didn't allow a single sack last year. I thought it was going to be better, but I trust Jake Browning to a certain extent. If Jake Browning is kept clean, it wasn't too long ago that he led us to like a what was it, like he went like 5-3 as a starter after Burrow broke his hand against Baltimore in I believe it was the 23. It was 2 years ago. And like I'm obviously he's not a guy that's going to win you games himself, but he's competent enough to where he can at least be a decent level game manager and not turn the ball over 1,000 times. I know he had 3 picks against Jacksonville, but like we were already down in that game, so that's you kind of have to get a little. You can't really be conservative when you put in a backup quarterback when you're already down by a touchdown, but. I don't know. I think especially for this Vikings game, we're going to be okay. There's obviously Carson Wentz is horrible. There's no Aaron Jones, so I think we'll be all right for this one. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If we can go 500 with Browning by December, I'd say we probably still have a shot.
Now, looking at this graphic, fellas, I want you all to list out your locks for the week. Jalen, I'll start with you. What is your lock for the week on this beautiful week 3 slate?
Lock.
I need a lock, not a casual lock like Seahawks and Saints. I need a lock.
Packers over the Browns.
Kind of a casual. Yeah, I mean, that's a trap game. Actually, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Browns could fuck around and win that game for real.
Yeah,
with that defense, but their offense is just terrible. Like
push Shadur in.
Yeah, they put in Gabriel at the end of that, but yeah, I think the lock is.
Hey, Gabriel was solid. He threw a touchdown.
I want to say Dallas is. I ain't gonna say that's a lock. That's not a lock. That's a toss up. Actually,
that was gonna be mine. That was gonna be mine. Yeah, that was gonna be mine as well.
I'll pick a different one. I'll pick Rams over Eagles.
I'm picking Dallas to win anyway, but I don't know if
I
that's a lock, though. I wouldn't say that's a lock, though.
My lock is Rams over Eagles. I think that's a great game, but I think the Rams pull this off. They should have pulled it off in the playoffs, but they didn't. I'm glad they didn't because we got to see Saquon win a ring. But you know, that's I Ravens over Lions. Hey, talk to him. I don't disagree with that at all. But it's going to be a shootout. Let's be honest here.
I don't think that's a lock, though. That's tough.
It's a lock for me. It's a lock for me. I don't know. I've never seen Detroit play in Baltimore.
That's the game. Like I don't know.
That's kind of weird. That's a weird game. Nolan, what's your lock?
I think the real version of the Lions is somewhere in between what we saw against the Packers and what we saw against the Bears, because
We'll see, I guess.
I think it's like you know no more.
You picked the Cowboys over the Bears, bro.
I'm just being honest. Am I wrong the past 2 weeks? I said it. I said the Bears were going to fuck around and be 0-5 going into week 6. I said they next game. I said the game that they could possibly win is when they play the Saints.
Oh my gosh! Hey,
I think a specific talk is Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams is going to have a field day against that Bears run defense. I'm definitely starting him in our week now.
I mean, we'll be lucky if Caleb Williams throw for 200 yards. For real. I mean, let's be honest. For real.
Let's give Nolan his pick real quick. Nolan, what's your lock?
Yeah, I mean, you guys talked a lot about. I mean, the Rams is kind of my upset pick because the Eagles are favored in that one, but I do like the Rams. But going to a different one, I think the Chargers over the Broncos is a lot. I think that.
Fuck you.
I think. I look. The Broncos just don't look as good as I thought they were going to. They have looked very disappointing through 2 weeks, and this is a Chargers team that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like. That's what I'm saying. Like the Cowboys' offense is insane. Like, let's just be real. The Cowboys' offense is literally insane. Like,
no, it's gonna be ugly in Chicago.
It's always stacked, man. It's always stacked. The defense is the issue.
They always have a great offense. This is the matter of can the Bears keep up with the offense, and we see that they couldn't against the Lions when they got 50.
Damn. Both your teams getting ran out the city this week. Your Broncos getting ran out of LA, and your Chicago Bears getting ran out of their own city this week, bro. You got to pick a new team, bro. Come to the Chargers. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, the Chargers look. I mean, I said it like right after we went off the air yesterday. I think the Chargers can start 12-0. I really do. I mean, tell me where they lose in their first 12 games of their schedule. Tell me where they lose. Like honestly,
David doesn't like that.
They got the Broncos at home this week.
That either.
Tell me where they lose here, okay? In their first.
I know.
Let's talk about it. Hold on.
They're 2-0. They got the Broncos at home this week. That's going to be a lot.
Let's talk about it.
The Denver Broncos.
They
go on the road against the Giants. Then they'll be back at home against the Washington Commanders, who, you know, Jayden Daniels should hopefully be healthy by then. But the Commanders are banged up right now. Got the Dolphins on the road. The Colts at home. That might be a little.
That's a good game. That's a good game. We never lose to them.
Hold up, though. Indiana Jones.
I'm still not 100% sold on the Indianapolis Colts, but we'll see how they hold up.
We don't lose to them.
They got the Vikings at home. They got the Titans on the road. The Steelers at home. The Jags on the road.
The Steelers on.
Steelers. Hey, hold on. Steelers is a good one. Steelers is a good one. Jaguars.
Their defense concerns me.
Jags are sleeper.
But
Trevor Lawrence is the key.
But for how long he was saying all of those games in between, we won't know how the Steelers look by then. So,
Come on, bro. We know Aaron Rodgers. We know how he goes.
But like, just off of what we know through 2 games. Which is obviously an extremely small sample size in the NFL here. I don't see them losing a game until maybe on the road, or excuse me, at home against the Eagles in December. I really don't.
We're getting our ass kicked that game. I'm not going to lie. Listen.
I don't.
Listen. I'll tell you the factor here. I'll tell you what it is. The X factor to winning these games, you're going to call me crazy, is Quentin Johnson. Now, let me explain. Let me explain, you TCU hater. Listen, let me explain. Listen, Keenan Allen is on the outside, split out with Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is a pure slot receiver. Quentin Johnson is on the outside. This is something that you got to pay attention to on Sunday as well with Patrick Surtain, who's an outside corner who really doesn't play in the slot like that. You see Patrick Surtain go with any good wide receiver, it doesn't matter where they are, besides the slot. The outside receivers are the exact spot that he is always lined up on. So he's going to be lined up on Keenan and Quentin Johnson unless it's third down, a crucial third down, and he's going to be on Keenan Allen. Okay? Now, the X factor is if Patrick Surtain is locked up on Ladd or Keenan, Who else is there to throw to? Well, I'm telling you, Quentin Johnston. That is the X factor to winning these type of games. If you have a top tier corner, they're going to be locked on to Lad McConkey or Keenan Allen on third downs. It's a fact. It's a literal trend that we're seeing now. They were putting them on that. They were putting their best corners on Keenan Allen on third down, and they still couldn't do anything.
But
And that's what left Quentin Johnson wide open deep. I'm trying to tell you, that is the X factor on offense right now.
Why is Lad McConkey like the wide receiver 3 now? That like
He doesn't. No. He averages 5 catches and 65 yards. It's fine. That's good production.
No, I'm just
He
saying,
does
like, from
not-
a fantasy perspective, like, he had only, like, 9 in week 1 and, like, 13. I was like, bro, like, what?
He hasn't scored. He hasn't scored yet.
Where he was with the volume last year, he was getting force-fed the football because
We didn't have anywhere else.
They didn't have Keenan Allen.
Josh
They didn't have
Palmer,
anybody else
no.
to throw the ball. Now they have 3 quality receivers because Quentin
Jalen
Johnson
Reagor,
has
no.
suddenly come alive. And
How
can
about
actually,
this?
he's like, oh, I'm a wide receiver. I can catch the football, actually. Like, that helps a little bit. So when he's doing good,
And when Keenan Allen is on the outside performing like his younger self, this is a team with 3 quality wide receivers, and you can't cover all of them. It's just plain and simple. And to Naz's point, Quentin Johnson is the X factor right now. Eventually, teams, if he keeps performing at the level he's performing at, are going to switch over to him. But then
And then
Keenan
guess
Allen's
what?
going to be open.
Listen, this is exactly what I dream about at night for Justin Herbert. Having 3 options, maybe 4 with Trey Harris evolving eventually, hopefully.
yeah,
Second round
hopefully.
pick. I expect him to do some big things in the future, okay? This is what I dream about. If Amarian Hampton can get his head out of his ass and stop
That's-
fumbling the damn ball,
He will be
that
good.
is something that I'm looking for. I'm not happy with
That's
that.
what I was going to say in terms of being an X factor with the Chargers was not even just Hampton, but just the run game in general. Because trust me when I say it, I mean, I've loved how the Chargers passing attack has looked recently, but when you're a Jim Harbaugh-led football team with Greg Roman, I like no matter
You gotta run it.
dating back as far as his time in San Francisco, Jim Harbaugh's identity is just
Have
being
to run
more
the ball.
physical, out physicaling, winning the line of scrimmage, and running the football. Like even when like even when like in 2023 when Blake Corum went down, you know, you'd think, okay, maybe we got to open up the passing game up a little
Yep.
more. We still just force fed. There was Donovan Edwards. That's just always what
Perfect
Jim
example.
Harbaugh is going to do. And I think that's really what's going to determine the Chargers season is the run game opens up, and, you know, then it's going to make it easier. It's going to make it easier in the passing game and vice versa. But yeah, that was going to be my true X factor is Hampton and Harris and those guys being able to establish the line of scrimmage, get good first down runs.
And Hampton
Jalen, I
will be
think it's
okay,
time,
dude.
bro.
It's 2 games. 2 games.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
Hampton will be okay. Like
Jalen, I
Hampton,
think
I
it's
still
time.
think he's going to be.
Time for what?
To transition teams, bro. Because look, think about it. We got 2 locks on your head right now. 2 locks. We got Chargers over Broncos and Cowboys over Bears. And you said that you're taking who'd you say you're taking? I forget. Packers over Browns. That's a good pick. But I want you to pick someone that you know is gonna win a big game. Okay. I'll give you an example. I got Giants over Chiefs this week. Call me crazy.
I was just gonna say that.
Call me crazy.
Gonna say that.
That's
I was
not
just gonna say that. It's a hot take.
That's
Here-
not
here's-
great.
Here's a hot take I'll make. Maybe you guys can call me crazy. I feel like the Giants have the best defensive line in the league. I really do. You got Brian Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got I'm blanking on who else they have.
He's already 0-3. He's already 0-3 in his past 3 games. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying, bro, the defensive line is one of the best. I mean, it's held up extraordinarily well. And, you know, I'm not saying that like the Chiefs defense is washed, but the in my opinion, one of the reasons that they've looked so bad is because the secondary has taken multiple steps back. Obviously, no Xavier Worthy, no Rashee Rice. That hurts, but you know Spagnuolo has not been able to just, you know, dominate guys off the line like he's been able to in years past. And you got Russell Wilson just threw for 400 yards against a pretty solid.
Pretty good Cowboys defense, man.
Yeah, no, that's
good.
I mean, you got
collapsed
Trayvon
last
Diggs, you
week.
got Deron Bland. Like that's a good secondary.
Without Micah Parsons is
pretenders,
slow,
dude.
rough.
I
don't know, man.
Probably
Trayvon Diggs is the most overrated cornerback in the entire league, dude. I just don't understand the hype around him. He is so overrated. And so when we always list, the Cowboys have such a good secondary.
I'll put 50 on it right now, Jalen.
Yeah,
don't
that's
really.
my guy right
They
there.
don't really.
I'll
Yep.
put 50 on it right now.
Nah, the
I'm
Chargers are going to
trying
win
to
that
tell
game.
you,
I
bro.
don't
The
know what.
Broncos might fuck around and win this week. I'm just telling you.
It's not going to happen.
Put 50 on it. Both of
Not
y'all
gonna
put 50
happen.
on it.
And
It's
the
a free
Chiefs are
100
going
for
to
me.
beat the Giants. I mean, you guys are buying a little too much into the Chiefs 0-2 start here. The Chiefs are going to beat the New York Giants. I would bet.
Hey, I'll just tell you this: playing at
Wait,
MetLife is
Russell
hard. We saw
Wilson
what the Bengals did last year. No, I'm sorry, David, but
No,
it's
that's
hard to
fair.
play in MetLife. It's hard to play in MetLife.
We almost fucked around and lost that game. Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, with a good
No,
quarterback now and Russell Wilson, I'm trying to tell, like, he can spark some stuff, right?
Nah,
I mean, unless McDuffie gets in his Duffy and starts guarding neighbors,
It
I
might
don't
be
see
a shootout,
happening.
but the Chiefs.
I was gonna say like who are they putting on the other team's wide receiver too? Like Justin Reed? Like I don't know, man. And like I said, man, like you got a Chiefs offensive line that is kind of feeling the loss of no Joe Tooney.
That's
like
a rough loss, man.
yeah, no, and like I said, man, I mean Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, like that is a really, really good Chiefs or Giants.
Mahomes is going to be running for his life on Sunday night. I hope you know that.
Yeah,
I'm kind of looking at that Rams and Eagles probably rematch. I think the Rams gonna win that.
Rams are going to win it, dude.
I
got Rams. I got Rams on that one.
I think the Rams gonna beat Philly.
I don't know if
I
do.
sure
I
hope
think
the
the
Eagles
Eagles
receivers come alive, though, dude. The Eagles.
Another good one.
Another
good one. I think the Cardinals are beating the San Francisco 49ers. I know that's crazy.
Oh yeah,
That's not
Hot
crazy.
take. Well, all right. Let's do hot take upset that y'all think gonna happen this week.
I think that's a crazy one right there. The Giants Chiefs. I think that's a big crazy one. But another one, Jags over Texans. I think Texans start 0-3. I do. I'm not convinced. I don't think they're good. I do not. I don't think so. I don't think they're winning the division. They're already 0-2. It's just going to be ugly for them.
My upset would probably be. Ooh, wow.
Raiders could win this week.
That was going to be mine.
That was
going to be mine. Yeah,
They could. Marcus Mariota's great, but not really.
No, I think the Raiders are a lot better than we thought, but
I think the Patriots upset the Steelers.
that's not ridiculous. I don't
Interesting.
hate that.
The
I
way that the Steelers looked against the Jets, I think the Patriots fuck around and beat the Steelers.
Kayshon Boutte, man, most underrated receiver in the league.
I mean, Drake May, he can throw that ball, he can sling that ball. Stephon Diggs can get going in this game.
I think for mine, I'll pick the Titans, dude. I think the Titans are going to at home get the upset.
I was
over the
looking
Colts.
at that one too. I was like, the Colts are not like.
I just think that
I don't know.
I'm not bought in on Indianapolis right now.
I'm not bought in either.
I think the Titans are better than 0-2. I like Cam Ward. I like what he's done the past few weeks. I think that he's only going to continue to get better. And look, they were playing a tough Rams team last week, and week 1 going up against the Broncos, only lost by 1 possession. I think that this Titans team could do it at home. I mean, those AFC South matchups, you never know, dude. The AFC South is such a toss-up. Divisional games are always a toss-up, especially the AFC South. I feel like you never really know, which, like, Texans-Jags is another, prime example. You just never really know with those 4 teams, I feel like, who's on top, especially this year. I mean, like, obviously right now you'd be like, oh, the Colts are easily going to win this division. I don't know. I really don't. I could see I could see any of them.
I think the Falcons are, and I was going to say this when you were previewing the Chargers schedule. I'm not saying the Falcons are going to beat the Chargers, but I could see them giving them I could see them giving them a tough game, man. I like
we kicked their ass last year, though. I'm not gonna
I think
lie.
the Falcons lucky lose this week too. They did not look
Did
good.
the Falcons lose to the Panthers?
Yeah,
Wow.
I like what I saw.
Alone on this,
Bryce Young,
They
baby.
put up a little bit of a fight against Arizona and Atlanta. I mean,
Congratulations, you scored a touchdown in the 4th quarter.
Hey,
against
you know
the
what game I'm looking at right now?
Here's the
Not
thing:
good.
their defense looks unbelievably like what's been the thing about the Falcons for the last foreseeable past is that there is no pass rush at all. And now keep in mind, this was a Vikings offensive line that didn't have Christian Darrisaw, but their 2 first-rounders, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., they had the highest pressure rate out of any team last week.
Correct.
And again, this is a Vikings team that didn't have arguably the best left tackle in the league, but I don't know, man. You got the pass rush looks a lot better. They will be without AJ Terrell, but like you got AJ Terrell, Xavier Watts, another really promising looking rookie. Penix is really spreading the ball around. I don't know. I like the Falcons this year.
They
I got
did
another
look
upset.
convincing against the Bucks, though. That's the thing. Like they didn't do that great against Tampa Bay. They did okay. They held their own. Like I don't think that Falcons be a bad team by any means. But if we're talking about them going up to that next level, I don't think they're there yet.
If Fields
one
was
more.
playing, the Jets would beat the Bucks.
Stop it. Cut it out.
I don't know.
Just
I'm
okay.
really high on the Bucks this year.
I would like that.
Playing,
but no.
if
I don't
Fields
think
was
so.
playing, I think
Did you
he'd
see
beat
what he
the
did
Bucks.
last week, Jalen? Jalen, you missed the show yesterday. I want to inform you on something. Justin Fields went into the fourth quarter, 60 yards last week, before he was hurt, by the way. 60 yards, all-purpose yards. Come on, bro. They're not. No, he's not it. I thought he was.
I'm continuing.
He had
The
a
Baker
great
top
week
5.
one.
Baker
Well,
top
Jalen
5
Hurts is-
propaganda, man.
Has Jalen Hurts even yet to pass for 200 yards yet?
Well, if that's your
That's
bar,
a different
dude,
story,
that's
bro.
a sad bar passing wise.
I'm saying, bro, if you're comparing him to Jalen Hurts right now, man, I'm not. I don't know, man. I'm not. And
I mean,
another
that's
upset though.
He said that's all he had was 60 yards. Well, Jalen Hurts had like 100 something.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts
He
sucks
won,
too.
though.
You hear no argument from me saying Jalen Hurts is a
No
good
one will
passer.
tell you all day
But
about
people-
it.
but there's people saying that Jalen Hurts should be top 5 in the league.
Yeah, and it's bullshit, dude. It's
I've been saying that all summer he
complete
shouldn't be.
BS. The Jalen Hurts top 5 quarterback in the league is such crap. If we're talking about him as like a running back, then yeah, sure. Then we can start talking about that conversation. But as a passer,
David, you should be calling him a running back. Everything you
Jalen
think
Hurts-
Lamar is, Jalen Hurts is.
Jalen Hurts is a broad
Come on, man. Yeah, they're both elite running backs. What's the issue?
No, cut it out. Cut it out. Listen. Another upset real quick that I think that could happen is Titans over Colts. Now, call me crazy, but Cam Ward looks absolutely amazing. Okay, his wide receivers are selling him every game.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
think the Titans.
I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind that.
I like
I
Cam
think Cam
Ward,
Ward's.
man.
I like Cam Ward a lot.
He looks
but-
He's
good.
getting better.
He's gonna go as far. Obviously, his receivers. A big shout out. I really like Eli Manor. That dude is underrated as hell. But
Oh yeah.
the thing about Cam Ward, we were talking about the Raiders over the Commanders. I think the same thing that's going to dictate that game is what's going to dictate this Colts game. They're only going to go as far as their quarterback's decision-making processes take them. We saw Geno basically took them out of the game against the Chargers. Like literally the first pass was picked. He threw 3 picks. All of them were basically all on him. The biggest knock on Cam Ward's game in college at Miami was that, he went to playing hero ball too early, went out of the pocket, tried to make something happen when there wasn't anything there. The whole notion of live to see another down is like not even a part of Cam Ward's vocabulary. That's why they lost to Georgia Tech. That's why they lost that's why they lost to Syracuse. It's just him trying to do too much. And we've already seen that, that touchdown pass against the Rams, it was great, but it's like
He's never doing that again.
you give
Never
him
doing
10
that again.
more of those, that shit is not working. And it was a great
Never doing
highlight.
that again.
We can appreciate the highlight, but
Say
Right.
what you will. I'm starting Michael Pittman this week over Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
I
I don't know,
agree
man.
with
Jerry Jeudy still looks good though, even with Joe Flacco as a quarterback. But listen, guys, that was a great segment. That was fun. By the way, real quick, top 5 quarterbacks. I think Mahomes has got to be out of it right now. I know he's by himself.
Yes.
He's kind of just not there for me.
He's the top 25 quarterback.
Wow. Okay.
No,
all right. And that's a good cue to move on. Okay. Listen, we are getting too close to the MLB playoffs. And it is getting spicy.
All right,
Now, as you guys know, yeah, take that off because you're about to get flamed for a second. But listen, we're getting so close to the MLB playoffs real quick. And we are, if you guys join on Fridays, we love to do these baseball talks. I'm the mediator in this situation. I'll be asking the questions, and we're just going to leave the floor to Nolan, David, and Jalen. and we'll just start off. But guys, remember, do not take too long with your responses. I just want to hear your basic thoughts, and then you guys can just go at it. We'll have 3 questions, 3 big questions for you guys, and you can answer them. They're pretty basic questions right now. We'll get more advanced as the week goes. But as of right now, we're in baseball talk with David, Nolan, and Jalen. Listen, my first question is this. All right. I've been seeing a lot of, the Brewers already clinched the playoffs last week, and congratulations to us. We are great. Now the Cubs just did it, and I'm hearing a lot, maybe on the internet, that the Cubs really want the Brewers. Jalen, how do you think about that, man? Do you think that's gonna happen? Do you think it's possible that the Cubs could, maybe make a little bit of a run here in the playoffs? I want to start off with you, and then Nolan and David go ahead and talk about it. But listen, again, don't take too long. We only got 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think you should ask the Brewers, do they want to see the Cubs? Because
Of course.
I don't know about that one, but because what's his name? Michael Boyd, I think it is.
Matt Boyd.
He's been looking very bad. Matthew Boyd's looked very bad, and they're still winning games while he's pitching bad. And I feel that, like I told you, if I'm the Brewers, you do not want to see the Cubs at all in the divisional round. If anything, you want to see them in the championship series.
Okay.
But ultimately, if I'm a Cubs fan, I have no problem with facing the Brewers because they may have great pitching, but we have good pitching too. But our offense is better. Yeah, they hit. They hit. You guys do a lot of the situational hitting and whatnot, but Cubs can really put up a lot of crooked numbers very fast with like big swings, and with Kyle Tucker coming back healthy soon, they could fuck around and make a run for real. They've beaten the Dodgers, they've beaten the Brewers, they've beaten the Padres, they've messed around and played around with the Phillies. They lost the series, but they lost 1 or 2 games less. Out of all the other teams in the NL, they won the series against all of them.
Nolan, as the Brewers fan, what are you thinking right now?
As a Brewers fan, look, I mean, the Cubs wouldn't be my first choice for who I wanted to see, but I would definitely prefer to them in the championship series compared to a team like the Philadelphia Phillies. I think the Phillies are red hot right now.
Don't want to touch the Phillies right now.
I don't want to see Philadelphia in that. And I'm really hoping that we can stay in the number 1 spot, because then, as it's looking right now, we wouldn't see the Cubs or the Phillies until at least the NLCS. I don't know. This Brewers team they concern me a little bit because we are getting back to winning. We just swept the Angels. Again, that's not a huge feat because the Angels suck. But I personally am not thrilled with where we're at heading into the playoffs, because they do this every single year. They do this where they get super hot. We saw that stretch where they won 14 in a row. And they won however many, and they had that 11-game winning streak, and then they lost a couple, and they got on the 14-game winning streak, and they just got super red hot, and everybody was like, nobody can touch the Brewers. And then now we were kind of falling back down to earth. And
the Cubs are getting hot.
These other teams, the NL are just getting hot, and especially the Phillies. The Phillies, I mean, they scare me. They scare me.
I've been trying to tell y'all this for years,
and they're doing this without Trey Turner.
Yeah, David.
Scare me, but I mean,
go ahead, Noah.
I'm still hopeful as a Brewers fan. I'm still hopeful that it's our year, and I still think that they can easily compete with the best teams in the NL by any means.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
But I mean, you're gonna have to beat one of them probably. The Cubs or the Phillies, assuming you can get past probably the Dodgers or it won't be the Dodgers. It will be the it could be the Cubs in the NLDS. I'm guessing. I'm trying to think through. I'm trying to work through the processes. Yeah, so it could be the Cubs in the NLDS.
Yeah, you would play the Cubs. You would play the Cubs in the NLDS or the Padres.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not scared of any teams per se, but I don't know. The Brewers team, with the way they are right now, with the way they're performing, doesn't inspire me with as much confidence as I had like a month ago or 2 months ago. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on them going
Wizarowski is
running through everybody. Miz needs to be in the bullpen, dude. He should not be starting anymore. He should be. He's a young dude. Look, he had a great start to his career, but put him in the bullpen, let him work there, be a long reliever, and take him out of the starting rotation because I mean it's just it's not working right now.
Now, David, as the middleman, as the White Sox man, who do you think the Brewers should want to face this first round? I know the bye matters. We're gonna get to that question in a second, actually, after your response. But who do you think that the Brewers should really look to face in the playoffs? I know you're not a Brewers fan, but as a baseball, knower, you got to have some idea,
Yeah, well, I think the Cubs are probably the team that I would pick, and the main reason is that the thing about the Cubs is that they're the hardest team for me to get a beat on. They're like the biggest wild card because like the first half of the season, the whole thing with the Cubs is that their lineup is elite, their hitting is elite, but their starting rotation concerns me. The question I was asking was who's the ball going to the starting like after game 2 after Shota. I don't think there was a single quality starter on the Cubs roster. And this was before Matthew Boyd got hot. And obviously now, you have Cade Horton, who is playing at an unbelievable level. I think he went like 35-plus innings without giving up a run. It was something insane. He probably gets the ball game 2. But now you got Matt Boyd playing poorly. And, Matt Boyd is also a guy that has never been an elite pitcher before. This is by far the best year of his career. But the thing that concerns me a little bit with the Cubs and is why I would say that I would want to face them as a Brewers fan is that the whole script has kind of flipped a little bit. We saw, especially in August, the Brewers going back to the All-Star break were 24-22. After I believe it was mid-September, from the All-Star break to mid-September, between Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and Seiya Suzuki, they had 4 home runs in that stretch. The 3 of them, those are their 3 best and most powerful hitters, just went unbelievably cold from All-Star break to mid-September. As we know, baseball is a huge game of runs. It's a huge game of momentum. I'll pick up on what Nolan was saying about how the Brewers, one of their Achilles' heels was getting hot too early and then fizzling out. I think that's kind of what we saw in the middle of the, post-All-Star break stretch for the Cubs. And their identity is a little bit confusing to me because they were a team that I thought was going to have you can make the argument that, if they're playing their best, they have the best lineup in baseball. I mean, Tucker, Suzuki, Pete Crow Armstrong, when Happ is playing well, that's a lot of power right at the top of the lineup. And you got guys like Carson Kelly having a career season, Dansby Swanson, we know how good he can be, but it's,
one of the biggest names on that list.
Yeah, second biggest contract in franchise history. Fun fact. But now the script is kind of flipped because now the pitching looks really, really good. You in theory have your 3 starters penciled in as Shota, Horton, Boyd, and then you throw Severin then. But it's like, is the offense going to recapture that pre-All-Star break form and get back to just absolutely mashing? And I think there's a bit of uncertainty there, and that's why I would probably want the Cubs because they're the least like known right now in terms of what they're capable of.
You forgot Michael Busch.
Oh, Busch, yeah, Busch is good too. Busch is good too for sure. But he was really good. Like,
Busch from top to bottom how good they are.
Busch had a 650 OPS in the month of August though, and then during the month from post All-Star break to September 15, Pete Crow Armstrong had the worst OPS in baseball. His OPS was like 450 something, and that's why one of the most stable and safest lineups in the entire league, at least in my eyes, suddenly looks vulnerable. And obviously Tucker had a really rough stretch. He was getting booed off the field after not running out ground balls at points, and now he's coming back hurt. Suzuki was super cold. So the biggest thing with the Cubs is, will they be able to recapture that pre-All-Star break form? And if I'm the Brewers, I like the uncertainty of that over a team like the Padres or the Dodgers or something like that. So if I could pick one team, that's why I would probably pick the Cubs.
Now, David, you mentioned the word momentum. That's going to lead into my next question here. Which NL wildcard team has the most momentum right now outside of the Cubs? I know we mentioned them. We've been talking about the Cubs and the Brewers. Now, outside of them, you got the Padres, you got the Mets. I believe the D-backs and Reds are on play here. I mean, what other teams are, have that momentum that you could see potentially bringing up an upset to the Brewers or the Phillies or any other team that may have a higher seed? Nolan, I'll start with you since we started with Jalen last time.
I mean, I think it's the Padres. This team is, if they were not in the division with the LA Dodgers, I think even with, being in the division with the Dodgers, they're scary. They're a scary ball club. It's another ball club that got really hot at early in the season. They've kind of cooled off a little bit and kind of were hot at around the same time as the Brewers were. But that's still a scary ball club. And I think that the Padres or the Cubs, assuming that that's going to be the 4-5, assuming the Dodgers take care of business against whoever will end up being the 6th wild card there, the 6th seed, it's going to be a challenge for Milwaukee, assuming that they can hold the number 1 spot. But I'm not looking forward to either of those teams. But the Padres, to me, I think have the ability, or the Padres and the Cubs both. I mean, no, we're not talking about the Cubs now, but the Cubs, if we're talking about wild cards, the Cubs and the Padres, I think, are the only ones that have the ability to win the World Series and take it all the way. I don't think that the Mets do. I don't think that any of the other teams that could possibly sneak in there, Arizona or Cincinnati, do. I think that they're just kind of playing to see who loses to the Dodgers in the wild card series. But aside from the Cubs, the Padres are a legit contender, I think, and would scare me a little bit if we got them in the NLDS.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with Nolan. I would probably take the Padres over the Phillies. The Zach Wheeler injury is like a gut punch for me. They have other good pieces. They have they have Christopher Sanchez. They have Ranger Suarez. They got Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins. That's gonna be a solid number 3. But the Wheeler, that's basically the equivalent of like the Tigers losing Skubal or the Dodgers losing Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's like that's a guy that's a guy that can win you a game outright. And they're, especially since their bullpen isn't as strong this year. You have no Jose Alvarado, you have no Sir Anthony Dominguez. Like these are guys. The core of the bullpen that got you to a World Series and then to almost another World Series looks a lot different this year. And you look at that compared to the Padres staff. Cease is starting to figure it out. Michael King has been fantastic this year. You have a bullpen that consists of Mason Miller and Robert Suarez. Like those two guys alone scare the shit out of me. And you have other good guys like Jason Adam, like that. When you look at the staffs of the two and the numbers behind them, I gotta say that I would feel a little bit more comfortable if I was a Padres fan than a Phillies fan right now.
Jalen, what's your thoughts?
I mean, obviously the answer is obviously the Padres, but I want to go a different direction.
No Mets lovers here.
I was going with the Mets.
Okay.
Just because of what they can do as an organization. I've just seen the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks, they just have swept the Phillies.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Mets are good, dude. I don't know why no one's talking about the Mets.
And what I've seen the past 3 games, Soto's gotten hot. He has 40 homers now. He had 2 hits last night. Pete Alonso had some last night. I think he had 2-3 homers the last game or 2. I think it was. You don't forget you got Lindor on it. So their top 3 is heavy. Then you got Nemo and Vientos, who are good quality bats. And at the bottom, don't forget they got Cedric Mullins too, who by the way was great with the freaking Orioles. So it's like I would say the Mets are probably the most scariest team because what has the most momentum to try to upset somebody, because if they get their pitching in order, their lineup might just produce in the postseason. And like we all say, we all know the postseason is a whole different season, right? Mm-hmm. and they're going to. And if they just make it, all hands off. Especially when the lineup with Juan Soto, Alonso, and Lindor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Here's what I'll say about the Mets.
they would
And,
have
like,
last year.
I just pulled up some stats. The thing about you were talking about momentum, Nas. On June 12th, Mets were 45-24. They had a 5.5 game lead in the NL East. 75% chance winning the division. 96% chance making the playoffs. Since June 12th, 31-49. And their ERA went from 2.79, which is the best in baseball, to 5.10, which is 24th in baseball. And then the bullpen ERA went from 2.82, which was second, to 5.04, which is 26th. And then the offense, which was at 4.6 runs per game, has gone down to just 3.4. So it really has been a tale of two halves for the Mets. I agree with what you said, Jalen, because just the sheer number of producing. I'm glad you mentioned Mark Vientos. That's, in my opinion, he's the X factor in that Mets lineup. But obviously, they have enough big names to still be a scary force. But the fact that they had such a big lead in the division, and now they aren't even guaranteed for a wild card at this point. Like they could just Senga got demoted because Kodai Senga, he had like a 6 ERA in his last like 6 starts. Like there's just a lot of question marks around New York right now. I think the fact that they aren't even guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point is enough to scare me away.
Yeah, so if they just somehow get in,
if they can get in, then I agree. Yeah, but if
they can get hot too. That's the thing. This is like
outside the Cubs.
You talked about them getting swept by the Phillies, but I mean, they like in their last 10 games, they're 3-7. So it's not like they are like, it's not like they're like all of a sudden like the super red hot.
I was going to bring up.
They're not. I mean, they lost. They beat the Padres in the 3-game series, but they lost to the Rangers in 3-game series. Lost to the Phillies, got swept by them. I mean, they lost to the series against the Reds back in the beginning of September. I mean, they haven't. It's not like they've like flipped a switch and they're back to where they were. I understand that the argument 100% that this is a team built. Like, look at this team on paper, is a team built to win the World Series, and if they get in, who knows, they could make a run. But nothing that they have showed me through the past month, or even again, even going back as far as what David was talking about, how they've been since early summer. I mean, nothing that they have showed me has said that they can make that sort of run right now.
Yeah, like I mean, you think about another team Soto was on, like the Padres a few years ago. Tatis, Machado, Soto, Bogarts. Like sometimes, like a bunch of big names
just don't work.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't click. I mean, I thought that team was going to win the World Series with all the talent they had, and sometimes just doesn't work out.
Go ahead, get your last question.
My last question. I know we've been talking about the NL a little bit. I want to switch to the other side. Now, the Toronto Blue Jays, can they hold off the Yankees and Red Sox in the AL East for the number 1 seed? Now, this is a pretty strong division here. I mean, the wild card is going to be tough in the AL, absolutely, but can they hold them off? And I want to kind of mesh the questions a little bit too, because I want to see who you guys think the momentum is, whose momentum is at the highest at the wild card level right now in the AL. But first, answer the question of, can the Toronto Blue Jays hold them off? Because it's getting a little dicey right now.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays will be perfect. They'll be fine. I don't see the Yankees making that kind of a run of that. They had 3 games back anyway.
Yeah.
And
Detroit's fallen off a little bit too,
And the Red Sox has fallen off. They're 6 games back, it seems like. So I think it's safe to say that Toronto will definitely take that division for sure. But as you were saying that in the wild card, who would be the if they had Roman Anthony, I think they could make a run, but they didn't have him for the past 2 weeks. So, But if you talking about who out of the wild card, who would be the most scariest or come out of it?
Yeah, I got Seattle personally. That's my personal one. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else. Maybe the Astros, because they're the Astros, but I got the Mariners. I think they look absolutely disgusting. When they played Milwaukee, I thought they were just amazing. But that's the team I have. But I continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Mariners 1,000%. I mean, even if they don't win the division, they still can win the division actually. So even if they don't win, I think that's the most hardest team to face out there in the wild card for them. You kind of know what the Yankees are. They're big bat and don't really got the best pitching staff at all. But their bats keep them in games. Aaron Judge obviously keeps them in games, and Bellinger is having a significant bounce back season, which the Cubs are stupid for. But yeah, the Seattle Mariners are obviously the best one. Eugenio Suarez, they got Rodriguez, Crawford. Man, you have the MVP Cal Raleigh, like the best switch hitting catcher in baseball, or best catcher in baseball, in my opinion. So I think the Mariners are probably the toughest one. They won 10 straight, I believe it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah,
9-1 in their last 10.
A team to watch out for if they can get in there is the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah,
plain and simple. This is a Guardians team that has been red hot. I mean, you talk about momentum. This is a team that has won 12 out of their last 13 games, including they just got a sweep over the Detroit Tigers, number 2 team in the AL. Earlier in September, you talked about the Mariners. They won the series against them. They've beaten. They lost the series to the Red Sox, but they were close in all of those games. And the game that they won, they destroyed them. They faced the Rays, who are a prospective wild card team that could still theoretically make it. Probably won't, but could still theoretically make it. Not in there, but again, they haven't been eliminated. Then it was the Royals, the White Sox, who are a team that David can tell you is heating up, and it looks to be better going into the future. Not the basement dwellers that they've been the past few seasons. And so they've beaten good squads, and this again. Momentum baseball, I think, is such a momentum sport going into the playoffs that, we've seen teams in recent years do this where they get in, they kind of sneak in as like the 6th or the 5th seed. It's the wild card teams and just go all the way. I really think that this Guardians team could cause some issues if they can get in. Right now, they're 1.5 games back. Talked about the Red Sox, how they're kind of cooling off right now. I think that they could easily steal their spot. So I think that they're a team to watch out for, and again, it's all going to be, these final 10 games of the season. It'll be, can they get in? But again, they're 1.5 back right now. If they get in, watch out for Cleveland. They will be a team that I'm going to keep my eye on.
David, final.
Yeah, you were talking about they just swept the Tigers. That is going to be the best series to watch because they just played a series with the Tigers in Detroit. Now they go to Cleveland and they're playing 3 more. I agree 100% with what you guys said about the Mariners. I think they have the best staff in the league. 1 through 5, you got Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. Those 4 right there is insane. But if you want to talk about a team that doesn't have momentum, my second team is the Tigers, being a Michigan guy. And I'd say if you were talking about a team that you'd want to play, I would want to play the Tigers. That's like the opposite of the momentum. They could have the magic number for them to win the division has been like around like 7 or 8 for like the past like month, and they've just been dragging their feet, and they've lost 2 out of 3 in a series. Like the Sox beat them 2 out of 3. The Angels took 2 out of 3 from them. They took 2 out of 3 from the Mets, but like it was in really bad fashion. I think the Tigers are easily the weakest team in the AL right now. You had injuries to the pitching staff. After Skubal, I don't even know there's a possibility that 42-year-old Charlie Morton could be getting the ball in Game 3 of a playoff series for them. Flaherty has looked horrible since the All-Star break, and the lineup is not – I don't know if it's as good as we thought. Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Torkelson, they all have been on the downward spiral, and I think they're in real danger of forfeiting the division. They just got swept by the Guardians. These next 3 games they play against the Guardians, I feel like, are going to tell us a lot about both of those teams.
Well, guys, that was our baseball talk with the Shot of Sports crew. It's always fun talking a little bit baseball. We don't talk about it enough because football and basketball season's coming up anyways. and college football. So there's a whole lot. So it's good to get this in every now and then. But now I want to get to your final thoughts, guys. I know we're over our limit a little bit, but it's good to get a little bit more content. We missed a few days, but we're back now. And just give me some final thoughts, guys. It can be about anything, life, sports, anything. Jalen, I'll go with you.
Preseason hockey is here.
Let's talk about it.
Utah Mammoth starts Sunday. Start back up on Sunday. Go back up to the studio and stuff. So
excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, it's here. Like the fun part of the season is here. Instead of just sitting around all day, the fun part is here. So
yeah. Utah Jazz coming back to be the worst team in the league, baby. Yeah. No,
we ain't gonna talk about Jazz. We'll talk about the Mammoth. They're supposed to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, they should be good. Yeah, no,
really good,
let's go to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off Jalen's a little bit, I mean, basketball and hockey both coming back. We are going to have a sports equinox, gentlemen, just a little over a month on October 27th. Very excited for it. It's the best time of year when everything's going on. And I mean, the
baseball,
NFL.
They might have a World Series right around there.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that the Brewers can pull through. How amazing would it be? I've always said that if the Brewers go to the World Series / win the World Series, it will be bigger than any Packers championship, bigger than any Bucks championship in Wisconsin sports history. And I just really hope that they can do it this year for UC, man. I'm really rooting for them. I'm not as confident as I was, like I said, like a month or two ago, but they still are a team that could easily win the World Series. And
LC Mitchell's an MVP finalist now. Wow.
Ooh. WNBA playoffs going on right now too. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
David, final thoughts.
You know me, man. My number one sport above all else is college football. There's a couple matchups that I'm really into this weekend. Illinois, Indiana at Indiana, I think is going to be a fantastic game. I could not be lower. I think Indiana is overrated as all get out, and I'm really high on Illinois. So I'm hoping that's going to be a good game. Michigan goes to Nebraska. It's going to be the battle of five-star quarterbacks, Bryce Underwood versus the Mahomes wannabe, Dylan Raiola. Should be a very interesting game. And then I'm really into Texas Tech versus Utah, 17-16 game as well. Big matchup in the Big 12 there. But, so I'm really excited for college football to get more into the swing of things. Obviously, I really like NFL season and NBA season, but I'm a college football guy, number one. So this is like my favorite time of year.
Well, my final thought here, I'll piggyback off Nolan. Again, I want to reiterate this to everyone. Milwaukee is a baseball city. I hate to say it. I want them to be a basketball city. They're a big Packer city too. But if they win the World Series, I don't think you guys understand. The U.S. Bank building downtown, the tallest building in Milwaukee, might get flipped upside down. That's how crazy this city is. I mean, if we can make it, we don't even have to win it. I think making it would still count as like. I know we have to win it, but you know what I mean. If we made it, that's a crazy accomplishment.
Out of nowhere, man. Like who the hell is Isaac Collins? Who is Caleb Durr? Like they just spawn these like randomly generated NPCs, and they're always really good.
Hey, man,
power of friendship, baby.
I'm telling you, if they win the World Series, prepare to send the National Guard to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But hey, we're gonna leave politics out of this. We're gonna just stop here and run to our Fridays, guys. Hey, listen. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for viewing. I got like 5 or 6 viewers here at one point, which is pretty good for us. It's pretty nice, right? But hey, thank you guys. Subscribe to us, and we love giving you guys these sports takes all the time. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube. You're watching on. Subscribe, like, and follow us on everything. We're gonna be back here on Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll expand some days as the sports equinox arrives, like Nolan said. But hey. We're Shot of Sports, and we'll see you soon.